To say it's been a chaotic week in the White House is something of an understatement. Most of the media lenses are laser focused on this out of control scandal surrounding Donald and the Jeffrey Epstein files. But today, we're not going to focus on him or that because there are other things going on in the world that deserve our attention. We are going to focus instead on something that Donald and the Trump regime desperately want to keep buried: the quiet, determined power of everyday resistance that continues to grow in this country. Because beneath the noise and the drama and the temper tantrums, underneath the press briefings and the lying and Donald's social media outbursts, there's a growing number of Americans who refuse to comply, who refuse to surrender, who refuse to give in, and who are pushing back against everything the Trump regime stands for, including its cruelty and its attempts to take away our rights and control our behavior. Yesterday, that resistance came together in a powerful tribute to a man who represents the opposite of everything that is wrong with Donald Trump and the Trump regime. Thousands of people gathered at more than 1,600 locations across the country for the Good Trouble Lives On marches held in honor of the late great Congressman and civil rights icon John Lewis. It was a day of defiance, remembrance, and unity. Here's NBC Washington with coverage of the event.
Hundreds hitting the streets Thursday in memory of civil rights icon John Lewis, marching with a message.
Our main mission is to protect the institutions of democracy in America. And that looks like a lot of different things. Right now, the bill that just passed, the threats to voting rights, with Texas wanting to gerrymander more seats, those, we want to draw attention to how authoritarianism looks like on the ground every day. And that's what it looks like. And that's what we're trying to call attention to.
The D.C. chapter of 5051 organizing this Good Trouble Lives On rally in Franklin Park to commemorate 5 years since Lewis' death and carry on his legacy. The diverse lineup of speakers shedding light on a wide range of issues like immigration, reparations, Gaza, and many Trump administration policies.
It must be peaceful.
Civil rights leader and Congressman Al Green marched with Lewis in the 60s. And he says many of the freedoms they fought for during the civil rights movement are still under attack.
But I want to draw people to 1965 and the Edmund Pettus Bridge, because that was a seminal moment in time for the civil rights movement. It's the crown jewel of the civil rights movement, that act at the Edmund Pettus Bridge, because that was what gave us the 65 Voting Rights Act. And the unfortunate thing is we have seen it erode over the years.
Even as immigrants are hunted, federal workers are punished, and lawmakers are threatened into silence, the spirit of John Lewis lives on. His words, quote, "Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble," rang out from city streets to rural roads yesterday. While Donald tried desperately to change the subject away from the Epstein scandal, over which it seems he has no control, protesters held signs that reminded us what real moral clarity looks like. One sign read, quote, "Release the Jeffrey Epstein files now. Republicans protect pedophiles," unquote. And another, quote, "Donald is not a king. He's a horrible human." Well, yes, succinct, but true. I only wish Donald could be so succinct, because I'm telling you, if you could see some of his recent posts on his failing social media platform, you would think, well, probably as always, wow, he's unhinged and clearly realizes how much trouble he's in. But also, why does he have so much time on his hands? Now, getting back to the matter at hand, you will not see the kind of coverage we provide here on cable news. That's by design. The Trump regime thrives on distraction. It thrives on flooding the zone. But we spotlight resistance whenever we can, because that is extraordinarily important news as well. So if you believe in amplifying good trouble, please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. That is how independent media will win. The Good Trouble marches were not the only act of defiance this week. In Los Angeles, farm workers and immigrant rights activists launched a bold, coordinated strike in an attempt to demand recognition, safety, and dignity. It's called the Strike for Dignity, and it is not a coincidence that it was planned for California's peak summer harvest. These workers, the very people who pick the produce that feeds us, decided to halt production and force the public to confront a brutal reality. Without these extraordinarily hardworking people, we don't have food on our tables. Here's NBC Los Angeles with the details.
Today, in the heart of a historic LA landmark, a small group of advocates put out a massive call to action.
Today, farm workers announced a national labor pause, a stand for dignity, and with that, we also launch a boycott.
Farm workers from the Central Valley traveled to LA to make their demands after immigration raids at Ventura County farms last week ended with hundreds of undocumented people arrested. Those raids, says Xochitl Nunez, who tells us she's been a farm worker for 20 years, were the last straw. It's got to stop. That was the message this group is sending. From July 16th through 18th, they're calling for not just a strike for farm workers, but all workers nationwide. They're also calling for people not to shop at big chain grocery stores. Their demands? Stop the raids and provide a pathway to citizenship for all undocumented people. The previous administration said we were essential. We are essential. Don't criminalize us, says Nunez.
Ms. Nunez didn't just call for change. She demonstrated just how dangerous the jobs these farm workers do on a daily basis. She rolled up her pant leg and revealed a deep, permanent scar that she suffered from a serious injury she sustained 10 years ago. A very important reminder to those of us who take these people for granted and their work for granted. They risk injury, illness on a daily basis, very often without the opportunity to have paid sick days or paid sick leave. And now, in addition to all of that, they are facing the danger of ICE raids. Just as in LA and Chicago, ICE thugs are targeting these farms, not to make arrests that protect anybody, but to create chaos and instill fear in anybody who wants to fight back. As we've learned, sometimes those raids turn deadly. On July 12th, Jamie Alanis, a farm worker, died from traumatic injuries while trying to flee a DHS raid. The agency released a sanitized list of 11 quote-unquote criminals it detained during these raids. Alanis wasn't on it. Why? Because that would mean having to own up to the fact that he's dead because of their recklessness and cruelty. But other people in the community remember, and they have demands to make. Take a look.
We demand that Glass House Farms provide full financial support for the funeral costs and assistance to the family of Jaime Alanis.
Today's rally also called for accountability from Glass House Farms, the major cannabis producer that was the center of the raids last week. The company issued a statement on social media acknowledging they were served warrants by immigration officials, saying in part, workers were detained and we are assisting to provide them with legal representation.
We want to see the proof.
Here's a thought. Let's sue ICE into oblivion. I do not understand why this corrupt, benighted agency is allowed to continue to exist, is allowed to continue to behave in ways that lead to the deaths of innocent people, that send a chilling message to the rest of us that, no, we really don't have the rights that have been guaranteed to us in the Constitution. They have the power, not us. So, in the context of that, these protests become even more important. One, because yes, we need more people knowing what's going on. But two, this is about survival for many of these people. And in that context, these are acts of courage in the face of actual state-sanctioned violence against them and people like them. So if you're feeling inspired by these actions, there are more opportunities on the horizon to take action. A movement is brewing online, and it has the opportunity, it has the potential, I should say, to call attention to this issue on a national scale. It's being called the People's Sick Day, and organizers are coming together to call on the American workforce to participate in a 3-day strike. Their mission reads as follows, quote, "The People's Sick Day is a national movement created to impact the U.S. economy and demand real change. We've been standing by while the system devalues the American workforce. We work hard, yet still struggle to meet our basic needs. The American workforce demands more," unquote. They're calling on service workers, warehouse employees, truck, rideshare, and delivery drivers, hotel, restaurant, and retail staff, teachers, school staff, and childcare providers. Basically, anybody who feels ignored, exploited, and burned out. On the webpage, the group does not list the exact dates, but instead links to a Discord channel for aspiring participants to join and stay anonymous. The reason? The group states the following, quote, "This is a sneak attack. The goal is to build momentum before the corporations catch on," unquote. The Discord channel has over 15,000 members and is growing daily. If this sounds like some good trouble you would like to join in on, we'll have the Discord channel link listed in the episode description. Listen, this may not sound like a big thing, and 15,000 members may not sound like a big enough number. Well, it's not yet. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't start somewhere. Taking small local collective action is where all of this does have to begin. We do need to start at the community level, taking care of our friends and neighbors who are under assault. And if they're under assault, let's be honest, so are we. Because denying due process to any one person on American soil threatens due process for all of us. Also, by failing to stand up to people who are active, vital members of our neighborhoods and villages and towns and cities, we're the ones sending the chilling message. So, how about this? Let's not do the authoritarians' work for them. Let's stand together, stay strong, and be loud. Please take a second and like and share this video. Be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please follow us and give the show a 5-star rating because it really does help other people find our content. Thanks.